The soft hum of the air conditioner did little to ease the tension in the apartment. Maverick leaned against the kitchen counter, his fingers drumming absently on the marble surface as he watched Aurora scroll through her phone, her brow furrowed, a telltale sign of another argument with her mother. It was always the same. Her mother's voice, sharp and unyielding, seeping through the cracks of their marriage like poison. "She thinks we should have booked a villa in Tuscany for our anniversary," Aurora said without looking up, her tone clipped. "Says a weekend in the mountains is quaint." Maverick bit back a sigh. Quaint, a code word for beneath us, courtesy of Margaret Holloway. A woman who'd never approved of her daughter marrying a man who taught high school history instead of inheriting a law firm. He had tried early on to win her over, diners, gifts, even humoring her rants about financial security, but 5 years in, the effort had curdled into resentment. "We agreed the cabin was what we wanted," he said carefully, pushing off the counter. "Your parents don't get a vote here." She finally glanced up, her hazel eyes flickering with something he couldn't name. Guilt. Irritation. "It's not about votes. It's about appearances. You know how she is. Appearance is another." Hallway mantra. Maverick turned away, staring out the window at the rain-slicked streets of downtown Boston. Their loft, with its exposed brick and floor-to-ceiling windows, had been Aurora's idea. A compromise after Margaret deemed their first apartment unfit for dinner parties. Now it felt less like a home and more like a stage every piece of furniture curated to impress. Later that night, as Maverick graded papers on the couch, Aurora emerged from the bedroom dressed in a sleek black dress he didn't recognize. Her perfume, something floral and expensive, hung in the air. "Date night?" he asked, forcing a smile. "It's just meeting Clara for drinks. She's going through a divorce." Her voice was too light, her gaze avoiding his. "At 10 p.m.? She's a night owl." Aurora adjusted her earring, a diamond stud he'd saved 6 months to buy. "Don't wait up." The door clicked shut. Maverick stared at the stack of essays, the words blurring. Clara Wright, the same Clara who had texted him last week asking if Aurora was okay, mentioning she missed their last 3 book club meetings. He pulled out his phone, thumb hovering over Aurora's contact, but suspicion felt ugly, foreign. He shoved the phone aside. The call came at 2 a.m. Maverick jolted awake, heart hammering. Aurora's side of the bed was still empty. He fumbled for his phone, squinting at the unknown number. "Mr. Carter, this is Officer Briggs. Your wife's been in an accident." The words punched through him. Hospital, stable condition. The drive to Mass General was a blur of red lights and rain. When he burst into the ER, Aurora was sitting on a gurney, a bandage on her forehead, her dress smudged with dirt. Relief crashed over him until he saw the man beside her, tall, broad-shouldered, in a tailored suit that screamed Wall Street. His hand lingered on Aurora's shoulder, a possessive tilt to his smile. "You must be Maverick," he said, extending his other hand. "Lucas Green. I was driving by when I saw her car spin out. Lucky I stopped." "Lucky?" Maverick shook his hand mechanically, his throat tight. Aurora wouldn't meet his eyes. "Thanks," he managed. "I'll take it from here." Lucas's gaze flicked to Aurora's silent exchange Maverick couldn't decipher. Of course, take care of her. The ride home was suffocating. Aurora stared out the window, her arms crossed. "It was just a skid," she said finally. "The roads were wet." "Where was Clara tonight?" Silence. Then quietly, "I needed space." Maverick gripped the steering wheel until his knuckles whitened. Space. From him. From her mother. From the life they'd built. The questions coiled in his chest, but he said nothing. The next morning, Maverick found the earring on the passenger seat, a single diamond stud glinting in the sunlight. Aurora hadn't worn them last night. He turned it over, his stomach churning. Then he noticed the faint scent of cologne lingering in the car, spicy, unfamiliar. He drove to the office in a daze, the earring burning a hole in his pocket.
During
lunch, he scrolled through Aurora's Instagram, a habit he'd always mocked. Her latest post was a selfie at a rooftop bar he didn't recognize, captioned "Midnight Therapy." The date, last Thursday, the night she claimed to be consoling Clara. His finger froze on the screen. Reflected in her sunglasses was a figure leaning against the bar, smirking at the camera. Lucas Green. Maverick started noticing things. The late-night work calls Aurora took in the hallway. Her voice hushed. The new lingerie she'd bought? Black. Lace still tucked in the Bloomingdale's bag. The way she flinched when he touched her, as if his hands were made of ash. One afternoon, while she was out, he combed through her desk. Beneath a stack of interior design magazines was a receipt for a hotel downtown the Liberty, dated 2 weeks ago. Room 1203, a king-sized bed. He sank into her chair, the receipt trembling in his hand. 5 years. 5 years of biting his tongue. At family reunions of smiling through Margaret's backhanded compliments. Of telling himself Aurora would outgrow her family's shadow. And for what? A notification pinged on her laptop, left open on the desk. An email from Lucas. Can't. Stop thinking about last night. Meet me tomorrow. Robert closed his eyes. The room tilted. When Aurora returned, he was waiting at the dining table, the receipt and earring laid out like evidence. Care to explain? Her face paled. For a moment, he thought she'd deny it. Then her chin lifted, defiant. You weren't. Enough, she whispered. You'll never be enough. The words hung between them, brittle and final. Maverick stood, his chair scraping against the floor. Pack your things, he said, his voice eerily calm. I want you gone by tonight. She left without pleading, her suitcase wheels echoing in the hallway. When the door slammed, Maverick slumped against the wall. The silence roared in his ears. 2 days later, a letter arrived from Margaret Holloway, a check for $50,000 and a note for your discretion. Maverick tore it in half, the pieces fluttering, into the trash. That night he drove to the Liberty Hotel, the earring clenched in his fist. The clerk at the front desk recognized Lucas from his description. Room 1203, she said, hesitant. But he's not alone. Maverick took the stairs, each step fueling the fire in his chest. Outside the room, laughter spilled through the door Aurora, bright and unfamiliar. He raised his fist, then stopped. You're better than this. He left the earring on the doormat as silent accusation. Let her explain that to her lover. The divorce papers arrived a week later. Maverick signed them without reading, his pen scraping against the page. That evening he boxed up her remaining things, the dresses, the perfume, the wedding album sheet, never bothered to display. As he taped the last box, his phone buzzed, text from an unknown number. She's pregnant. Maverick stared at the screen, the words swimming, then he deleted it, blocking the number. Let Lucas deal with the fallout. Let Margaret spin her lies. Poured himself a whiskey, the ice clinking like a toast to his newfound freedom. Outside, the city lights blurred into a constellation of what-ifs. But for the first time in years, the air in the apartment felt light, unburdened. The whiskey burned a path down Maverick's throat, but the numbness he craved stayed out of reach. He tossed the empty glass into the sink, the shatter echoing like a gunshot in the sterile loft. Dawn crept through the windows, painting the room in hues of gray. He hadn't slept. Couldn't. The text, she's pregnant, looped in his mind, a taunt wrapped in betrayal. 3 days passed. The boxes of Aurora's things still sat by the door, a monument to his paralysis. On the 4th morning, his phone buzzed a voicemail from an unlisted number. He played it on speaker, bracing for her voice. Tss, dead. Margaret's clipped tones filled the room. Maverick, we need to discuss this situation. My office. Noon. He deleted it. Let her stew. The knock came at 11 a.m. Maverick opened. The door to find Lucas Green leaning against the frame, smugness oozing from every pore. Carter, we need to talk. Maverick's fist clenched, but he stepped aside. Lucas strode in, glancing around with a derisive smirk. Cozy, Lucas said. You were sentimental. Get to the point. Lucas pulled a folded ultrasound photo from his pocket, sliding it across the kitchen island. Congratulations. You're going to be a dad. The grainy image blurred as Maverick's vision tunneled. Know the dates Aurora had left him 2 months ago. This was impossible. You're lying, Maverick said flatly. Lucas chuckled. Check the timestamp. That kid's yours. But here's the kicker. He leaned in, eyes glinting. Aurora doesn't want it, and neither do I. The room swayed. Maverick gripped the counter. Why tell me? 'Cause you're the noble one, right? Lucas shrugged. Figured you'd want to clean up your mess. The punch landed. Before Maverick even registered moving, Lucas staggered back, blood trickling from his split lip. You're pathetic, Maverick spat. Both of you? Lucas wiped his mouth, grinning. She's at the clinic right now. Better hurry. The Uber ride was a nightmare. Maverick sprinted into the downtown clinic, ignoring the receptionist's protests. He found Aurora in a sterile consultation room, her face gaunt under the fluorescent lights. Maverick? She stood, clutching a clipboard. What are you? Is it true? Her silence was answer enough. He grabbed the paperwork from her. Hand's termination of pregnancy consent form. His name listed under father. Why? The word cracked. Aurora hugged herself, tears smudging her mascara. I couldn't. He wouldn't. It's not the life I wanted. You don't get to decide that alone. You signed the divorce papers, and you lied. The walls seemed to pulse with his heartbeat. A nurse appeared in the doorway, wary. Maverick lowered his voice. You don't want it? It's fine. But that child is mine. I'll raise it. Alone. Aurora stared at him, a flicker of the girl he married surfacing beneath the ice. You'd really... Sign the custody papers, he said, turning away, or I'll sue you for every secret Margaret's. Buried. The custody battle was swift and brutal. Margaret's lawyers descended, but Maverick had kept records, receipts, emails, Liberty Hotel security footage his pie had dug up. Aurora crumbled under cross-examination, her porcelain facade fracturing, full custody. The judge's gavel echoed. Like a death knell, Maverick moved to a smaller apartment near the Charles River. The walls were bare except for a single ultrasound taped to the fridge. He read parenting books at 3 a.m., his hands trembling as he assembled a crib. The night before the due date, his phone rang. Aurora's name flashed on the screen. It's happening, she gasped. I'm at Mass General.
Please.
He hung up. The nurse placed the squalling bundle in his arms at Donagirl, pink and furious, with Aurora's nose and his own stubborn frown. Sophia, he whispered. The name settled into his bones like a vow. As the sun rose, he spotted Aurora in the hallway, her silhouette frail against the window. She pressed a hand to the glass, her reflection ghostly. Maverick turned away, cradling Sophia closure. Some betrayals, he realized, were gifts in disguise. So guys, if you liked today's story, please like the video and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.